That's Damaso Lopez. He was the guy who also kidnapped Los
Los
Chapitos.
Yeah. He's the compadre of El Chapo Guzman. He's the godfather of the three of them.
Okay, so let's lay out that story for people. So when El Chapo got arrested the second time and he was in Mexico City in that Mexican security prison, the head of security, like you just said, was what's his first name again?
Damaso Lopez.
Damaso Lopez.
He's known as the El Licenciado.
Okay.
And
he was the primary way that El Chapo got out.
Exactly. El Chapo paid him and he moved everything around the prison to get El Chapo out of prison, right? When the Mexican government learned about Damaso, like basically he broke El Chapo out, they went against Damaso. So Damaso went into hiding, but he was part of the organization of the Sinaloa cartel. Chapo was his sort of like his right hand. He was his compadre. He was the godfather for his three kids, you know.
And was this only after he got him out?
After he got him out,
only after, okay.
Yeah. He earned all the trust and all the he was in very good standing with El Chapo. But when they captured El Chapo for the third time, then Damaso thought that he was gonna step in as the next big boss for the Sinaloa cartel, right? I mean, I guess in his mind, it only made sense. It's like, dude, he
got the boss out.
Exactly. Like El Chapo is out, my compadre is out, and it's only natural that I step in. I broke him out. I basically saved his life. I'm the godfather of these three kids. So that's me, right? But it didn't happen that way. El Chapo ordered that Ivan Archibaldo, the oldest of the Chapitos, stepped in as the one who inherited the power inside that faction of the cartel. And then I guess Damaso felt, betrayed, and he did like the Sinaloa cartel was not on his power. He started to. That's I'm getting a lot of questions about if it was Cartel Jalisco who kidnapped Los Chapitos in Guadalajara in a restaurant called Leche, but it was Damaso.
Who is Jalisco?
The Cartel Jalisco Nueva Generación.
Cartel Jalisco, okay.
El Menchos cartel.
That's a separate cartel from Sinaloa.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's a different. I guess that's the second biggest cartel in Mexico right now. CJNG. That's like.
Is that the same as the New Generation?
Yes, New Generation Jalisco cartel.
Okay.
Damaso tried to make a like a deal with the New Generation cartel to go against the Sinaloa cartel, against Los Chapitos faction. And that's how they managed to kidnap Los Chapitos in Guadalajara, in Jalisco, in that restaurant. El Mayo had to step in to set Los Chapitos free, to negotiate between El Mencho and Damaso to set him free. So they set him free, they go back in Culiacan, they start preparing for war, and then Damaso,
he just had so much confidence. He thought, okay, El Chapo, I got him out. He went back, got arrested again. This is after he went back to the U.S., right?
Yeah, exactly.
So he just thought, I'm just going to kidnap his kids.
Yeah.
So I can take control.
Exactly. Yeah. And he always denied that was him. So he sent out a letter to El Mayo, to El Guano, and Los Chapitos, asking them for a meeting because he wanted to clear out his name. He was like, I wanted to clear this shit out. That was not me.
They didn't have any evidence it was him?
They didn't have any evidence, but they have had a lot of people, like saying it was Damaso. So he got every single one of them together in the hills of Sinaloa. And
so Damaso, he got
El Mayo, El Guano, and Los Chapitos.
And El Guano, for people listening, is El Chapo's brother.
El Chapo's brother, right. Yeah. It's another faction of the Sinaloa cartel.
So let's lay out the factions for people that don't know. There's four main factions of the Sinaloa cartel.
Yes.
El Mayo's faction, he's the founder of the cartel.
Yeah.
El Guano,
which is El Chapo's brother.
El Chapo's brother. Chapitos, which is his kids.
And then Los Salazar, which is like another big player, more like regional to Sinaloa, Sonora, probably Chihuahua, but not as huge as the other factions, right?
Right.
So when they got there, Damaso was nowhere to be found. He was not in that meeting. And then they started to get a rain of bullets, like. It was a setup, right? Damaso had set everyone up to.
So El Mayo himself in person showed up there.
Showed up there. El Mayo, El Guano, and the three of them, Los Chapitos.
What kind of security do they have showing up in the hills of Sinaloa like this?
They felt pretty confident because they were like, yeah, this is our turf, right? This is our hills. And it was at a common place of all of them. Still, they had their sicarios with them, the head of sicarios. Los Chapitos had, I think it was El Güero Ranas back then, which was the head of sicarios before El Nini. Ivan Archibaldo had this guy called El Panu. Which was a former special operations from the Mexican military.
Okay. He did like similar to what Ed Calderon did? Similar to that?
No, I think it was more like a special force, special task. You know, they're called Fuerzas Especiales. So he was like, they're very elite groups inside. Would
these be the same type of guys who kidnapped Ovidio?
That got a video, yes. Yeah, exactly. One of the Chapitos got hurt. I think it was Ivan Archibaldo. So they had to take him to a local hospital all around. And they managed to get out. And that was enough confirmation for them that Damaso was trying to take over the Sinaloa cartel, you know. Damaso at the end was arrested. He was extradited because he was put in a prison in Sinaloa, and he was like, of course, fearing for his life. He knew that he was going to be taken out, so they extradited him on his own request to go to the U.S.
Really?
Yeah. And then his son.
What year was this?
That was, I think, 2019.
Okay.
2018, somewhere around there.
Okay.
And then his son stayed in Sinaloa, kept fighting for a bit. And then he also went to Tijuana at the border to ask for, to basically be arrested and taken to prison in the U.S. because he was going to get killed in Mexico. So he's also in jail in the U.S.
And during that big shootout in the hills, too. So during that shootout, when he basically ambushed everybody, Los Chapitos, those guys, Ovidio, they were all there.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And then that was when El Nini kind of showed his stripes for the first time.
Exactly. El Nini was a kid from Tijuana that, I'm sorry, a contact recently called me. He's very close to El Nini and to those people. And he told me, can I tell you a funny story? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, El Nini grew up in Tijuana, and his mom thought that it was not a safe place for El Nini to grow up because she didn't want him to get too into the, like the malandros, what do we call the malandros, like the bad people, like the cartel people. Yeah. So she sent him to Culiacan. She thought that she was going to be better there, and he became head of security for Los Chapitos, So yeah, he showed up to El Güero Ranas and to Obanu and all those guys working for the security of Los Chapitos. And he proved himself during that gunfight. He stayed there. Everybody took off to take care of Los Chapitos and El Mayo and El Guano. And El Nini put together a group of very young soldiers for the Sinaloa cartel. And he ordered them let's stay here and fight back. And they stay there fighting. El Nini is a weird, it's a rare, breed inside the Sinaloa cartel, inside the cartels. He has brains and he has muscles. There's a lot of them that only have muscles, right? They know how to fight. They're well trained in the use of arms. They're colonel. But this guy is also smart. He's very sneaky. He's
how
pretty
old
smart.
Is
he should be around. Should be around his 30, 31 years old. So he's pretty young. But he started with the organization when he was around 20, so he started really young.
And what was his background? Did he have a military background before that, or?
No, not at all. I think he didn't even.
So he learned all this in the cartel?
In the cartel, yes. Wow. By having the right or the wrong connections inside the cartel. One person introduced him to another and then to another. And at the end, he started working as a sicario for Los Chapitos, as one of those disposable kids that they used as sicarios.
Right.
But he started like to prove himself with the cartel and started like going up. And when they killed El Güero Ranas, which was the former head of security for the Sinaloa cartel, he stepped in. Even Archibaldo vouched for El Nini too, stepped in as head of security for the Los Chapitos. And up until this day, he's still head of security for Los Chapitos.